Kevin Koski won the District Humorist Contest in 2007 with his speech, "I've Got No Team." Sadly, we don't have a copy of that video, but we're still hoping to learn a little bit more about the process from Kevin. Kevin, can you tell me a little bit about what it was like coming up with an idea for a speech in the humorist contest?
It was absolutely amazing as in terms of how it felt to finally do it. But coming up with the idea is interesting, what you're saying. I have a philosophy about this in looking at speeches. One of the things I do is I don't try and be the same as everyone else. I look to do something that's completely different. But the way I see it is if you try and compete, then all you're really doing is competing a little bit on a little bit of structure, a little bit of personality, a little bit of storyline. What I try and do is to throw an absolute curveball and do something so different. And the way I see it is what happened to me is I did something so different they didn't know what to do with me, so I won. And that's kind of how I see what I did. So coming up with an idea, it had to be something that was just unique, that was something different. And then you're not competing. They're basically seeing you for what that is, rather than for how it compares to the other speeches.
So your advice to someone else is to try and think of something crazy out there that nobody has ever done before.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the time I pulled out a harmonica in the middle of the speech and I rewrote a footy theme because the theme was about how did I feel about football as a culture in Australia, and I was struggling to embrace it while everyone else was embracing it. And I rewrote the football themes and played this kind of a blues thing and on my harmonica. So I think people looked at it and said, what do I make of that? And of course, it worked. So, and my suggestion is take the risk, do something out there, don't do the same, you try and do something unique, don't do something that's been done before, and that's a really important thing. Even if you've seen it done before, don't do that. Do something that you haven't seen, that other people haven't seen.
So Kevin, how do you get that speech in your head? How do you get to know it and ready to present?
Okay, and we all know that thing about rehearse. Very true. However, there's a few things to be aware of. Number one is you've got to know how long your speech is. Now, people say, yeah, I know my speech is this long, but I got to a point where I had to say it over and over again. I knew the range. If I was feeling a little nervous, it would go 30 seconds faster. If I wasn't as nervous, it would be 30 seconds longer. I had to time it perfectly so it sat between 6 and 7 minutes, over and over and over again, and I made sure I knew the timing. So there's no sense in writing a speech that's 7 minutes long if you're relaxed, because you're going to go over time, yes. And I've seen it. The other thing is, and this is what I did, is I made sure that I could roll out of bed at 3 in the morning, and I used to set the clock. The last 2 weeks I set the clock for 3 in the morning to fall out of bed and to look into the mirror and do the speech. I needed to be able to do it tired, straight out of bed, first thing in the morning, so that I was ready for whatever hit me. So we talked a little bit about timing, talked about preparation. The visualization thing I think is one of the most important things, and this is the thing I believe that won it for me. What I did is I knew what the cup looked like. So I had a look at it before. And I saw that cup in my head every day, every single day, for about 3 weeks. So I woke up in the morning and I thought I could see the cup, and I visualised the cup being handed to me. Every day, cup being handed to me, cup being handed to me, every day. The point of this is there's no magic. What I'm really doing is just training my subconscious to believe in the belief that I will win. So when I stood on the stage, I absolutely knew, I know this is going to sound a little over the top, but I actually knew that I was going to win because I trained my subconscious. So there was no nerves. I straight onto the stage, I trained my subconscious to believe that there was no other possibility, that I was absolutely going to win. And that was because of and I'm trying to sound egotistical, what I'm trying to say is you must train yourself, there must be a belief that you're a winner. The preparation for me was to study. Look at what other people were doing. Watch them. Go to as many contests as you can. Go. Just go to any club, any area contest, any level. Just go and watch and see what wins. And then one of the things that I think is really, really important is to know what wins at club level, what wins at area level, what wins at division level, and finally what wins at district level. And they're different. When you're looking at club level, it needs to be enthusiasm is kind of the thing that tends to get you through, and you can have poor structure. If you've got lots of enthusiasm and a big smile on your face, I always say you can do anything with a smile on your face. At area level, the structure's got to be clear, and the point of it's got to be a little bit more unique. And when you jump into division, it absolutely must be unique. Once you get to district, it's easier in some ways because you've really done the tough yards. At district level, you've got to get it all right. You've got to have that uniqueness. That will probably be the thing that will really win, and you've got to have the other things. They've got to be an automatic. The enthusiasm, the excitement, the message, the clarity of message. I think is really important as well. So if it's not clear, if we don't really know where it's going, then that's going to be not very strong. At district level, there's no choice. If there's no really clear message. The other thing I find difficult at district level, if I see a speech and it's building to something and then it builds to something really weak, I think, well, the building and the rest of the speech is good, and at the end there's not really much there, or it's a really predictable ending. That ain't going to win. It's not going to win. Not going to win. So yeah, they're my sort of ideas, but it's different every time. You really got to be saying, I'm going into the next level. What can I do to my speech? What tweaks can I do? Don't just run the same speech the same way to the next level. That's not going to work. It's a bit like in business. In business they say that the money is actually a byproduct of doing something really well, and it's the same in speaking contests. So, winning is a byproduct of speaking well.